thank you all so much. Thank you for that warm welcome. I actually think it's the first time I've been clapped at the beginning of an AGM, so this is going down in my diary as a momentous occasion. I've thought long and hard about how I was going to do this welcome. You shouldn't really need to think a lot about a welcome, but I have. And the thing that occurs to me, and it occurred to me as I was greeting people as they walked in, that what I want to say to you is welcome, and welcome my friends, because most of the people here are my friends. And if you're not a friend of mine, you are a friend of CVST. So welcome to my honoured guests, and welcome to my friends, and welcome to my staff members, it's great to see so many of them here. A warm welcome to my trustees, of which there are many here this evening, all supporting us. And welcome to our volunteers, who are the backbone of this organisation. So, enough from me, apart from to say that I'm going to introduce this table here. Alexander, who is gracing us with his uniform this evening. It's good to have you here, and thank you for coming. Councillor Gary Scott, who is the chairman of Tendring District Council. His Majesty's Lord Lieutenant of Essex, Mrs. Jennifer Tolhurst. Thank you for coming this evening. Someone who probably doesn't need any introduction, but I'll introduce her anyway, is Sharon Alexander, who's the Chief Officer of Community Voluntary Services Tendring. Dr. Jonathan Geldard, who is our Treasurer, and Dave Monk, who has introduced himself. So with that, I would like to ask Mrs. Tolhurst if she would mind opening.
We can't hear a word that's going on.
I'm very sorry. Is that better? Is that better?
Is it on?
You have to be close. Very close.
Okay. I'll give you that.
Thank you very much, Brenda. It is really a great pleasure to be here this evening. I've spotted various friends. I love coming up to Tendring. Last time I was here was for the Tendring show, and that's always great fun. And it was a lot easier this year because they'd sorted the traffic out. Last year it was really quite worrying. But also was very aware of the Clacton Air Show this year, which I think was completely spectacular. So well done, well done. This evening, as we've heard, we're here to celebrate and congratulate Community Voluntary Services Tendring, CVST, on their 50th anniversary. It is really a tremendous record and a tribute to you, and perhaps a moment to reflect on the thousands of people whose lives have changed as a result of your interventions and activities, organisations, all of which have been instigated by CVST. With your locations in Clacton, Jaywick, Harwich and Walton, CVST is able to reach a great many people in the Tendring district, networking with other agencies to support the cost of living challenges, winter support, and working to help keep vulnerable people warm and fed. People also do need support in the summer. CVST provides help and advice on how to keep cool. They support the homeless and, importantly, also young children in need. There's help with holiday activities and lunch clubs and a great deal of other brilliant things which all communities need. Before this meeting started, I had the pleasure of meeting a row of people here sitting in the front who are social prescribers. Now, it's just a no-brainer when you hear the work they do, but I'm sure you're probably all aware of it. But the fact is that they get people who are possibly been referred to them by doctors who realise that there is something underlying, actually, that needs dealing with. And these wonderful people discern what it is by finding out more about the people, empathising with them, and then helping them. And it turns out, in the end, that the people don't need to go to doctors. They just need the support that is made available by these people who work for the CVST, and I really applaud them for it. There are many other agencies and voluntary groups here today, which is fantastic, and I've been talking to one or two of them who work with the CVST to care for this community. Another thing that is well known about your work is the encouragement that you give to volunteers, and rightly so. It is so beneficial in many, many ways, both to the person who's receiving the help and to the person who is giving the help. CVST have assisted groups and organisations to get started, to grow and develop, and then to be launched as independent charities and go on to support and impact on even more lives. Over the years, the district has become more connected, more cohesive, and all the more richer because of the thousands of volunteers and voluntary action inspired by the people involved in it. Many congratulations.
Thank you. And now I hand over to Sharon Alexander for apologies for absence.
I don't think everybody wants me to go through the whole list. Suffice to say, we've had 35 apologies for absence, including the Chairman of the Council, Essex County Council, the Commissioner of the Fire and Police, and Chief Executive of St Helena, and I could go on, but we've had a lot of apologies, which is a shame. It's holiday season, but we've got you guys, and we're very grateful. Thank you.
Next item is the approval of the minutes from the annual general meeting held on the 22nd of September 2022. I hope that you've had an opportunity to have a look through the minutes of that meeting. I'll give you a moment to reflect. And can I have please someone who was attending that meeting last year to propose that we adopt the minutes as an accurate and true record of that AGM? Thank you, Bob. And can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Anne. And all in agreement? And members, please indicate approval by showing your yellow voting cards. Many thanks. The minutes have been adopted. I'm handing over back to Sharon, who is going to talk about our impact report. Sharon.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Chairman, Lord Lieutenant, get mixed up with that, I'm so sorry. Chairman of the Council, Chairman of CVST, friends, supporters, thank you so much for coming tonight. I really appreciate it, we all do. It's so good to see so many of you here. I must confess, when Dave brought over the microphone, I was a bit relieved because if I have to start shouting, the Scouse accent comes out. That was meant to be a joke. I want to take you back, actually, to when the organisation first came about. It was through the Clacton Urban District Council receiving a government white paper calling for an organisation to corral voluntary organisations because there didn't seem to be anywhere for people to, for organisations to come together. So the council created a steering committee. It met in church halls and then in a front room of a volunteer, And so the work began, and it was run by volunteers until 1990, and then staff were employed and organisations were set up, charities were launched independently, and we have gone from strength to strength since then. The organisation has gone tendering wide. We've helped people who are frail, young people, people with disabilities, people looking for work. There's all sorts of people from all walks of life who have come into contact with people at CVST, and their lives have been changed. And in some cases, we have saved lives. So the history of CVST is illustrated on the exhibition over there, and I would strongly recommend you take a peek before you leave. Later you will experience the CVST showcase, and so without further ado I'm going to canter through the highlights over the last year. We have delivered lots more projects and activities and changed more lives, and here are the numbers. We've managed an astonishing 15 grants programmes which has supported 78 organisations who, as you can appreciate, in turn have delivered much needed services to thousands of people locally. And as I said earlier, a key part of what we do, why we were first set up, is to bring organisations together to encourage collaboration and essentially to avoid duplication, especially in these times when we're facing challenges and budget cuts. It's really, really important to avoid duplication. And so by doing, we can maximise services for our community and local people. So this year we've hosted Tendering Together. We've hosted the Cost of Living Action Group, the Community Centre and Village Halls Forum, Funding Surgeries, the Network Breakfast, the ever popular Town Centre Community Fair. We've supported the Tendering Older People's Forum, and we've supported the Domain Live Well meetings with our partners in North East Essex Alliance. And if you want to know any more about any of those groups, because you might just go to one of those groups and you want to hear more about the others, do see a member of staff and they'll tell you more details. We're also a member of the Suffolk and North East Essex Integrated Care Partnership. Hello Susanna, thank you for coming here tonight. And we are a member of the Voluntary Sector Assembly for Suffolk and North East Essex, which has recently launched its Resilience Charter. So this charter sets out the principles and ways of working to enable a stronger, more resilient sector. And it's about working in partnership with statutory organisations so we're all treated equally, because we are all here to serve our local community. We've all got the same objective, which is to support the community. So why not treat us all equally? We all deserve to work together in collaboration and not worry about what hat we've got on, as long as we deliver what's needed in the community. We're a member of NAVCA, which is our national parent organisation, and are able to draw on the wisdom and experience of over 170 CVSs across the country through an intranet and through the many services that NAVCA provides for us. We've participated in the mobile jobs fairs with SNE, which we call the Suffolk and North East Essex for short, and that's helped us recruit lots of volunteers and find staff, as well as find staff for other organisations. The Cultural Awareness Project has hosted cultural festivals, events and activities, and that promotes healthy lifestyles. We've hosted a weekly drop-in for Ukrainian people, and we've supported asylum seekers in partnership with RAMA, which is the Refugee Asylum and Migrant Action Group, RAMA for short. Our social prescribers, as Mrs. Tolhurst has just described, do a fantastic job, and last year dealt with over 5,000 referrals from hospitals and GP surgeries, an increase of 82% on the previous year. We've had a bit of an argument on percentages. It's an amazing achievement. The social prescribers do a fantastic job in supporting people facing difficulties, whether that's a victim of crime, domestic violence, health or social care. Nothing phases the team. The resilience team work across the patch, distributing winter packs and advice, and support the fire service, who fit free smoke alarms to those in need. And our Healthier Independent Longer Lives project, with support from the Alliance over the last couple of years, were able to welcome 126 people with a learning disability, which is a bit of a shift change in our service delivery. And that again is responding to need. And an additional 600 people were able to join our many activities, and that was to improve skills, get healthier, more active, and essentially be more connected with their community. Kennedy Way is one of our flagship projects, and I would urge anybody and everybody to visit this magical community garden. It really is amazing. There is something there for everybody. And I would say you wouldn't be disappointed. We've got lovely volunteers, and again, that was all created from a chance remark at a local estates forum, and Jane Taylor is here tonight, responded when I said, anything for the social prescribers at this new medical centre? And she said, no, but we've got a bit of a waste ground across the road if you can do anything with that. And then having a meeting with the volunteer coordinator, Nikki Vella, and giving her a blank sheet and told her to reach for the sky. She certainly did with those volunteers, because now we have a men's shed, an outdoor gym, polytunnels. We work with Abberton Rural Training. They have the polytunnel on the garden, and they do amazing work with their clients. We have a wildflower garden. There's a community hub where anybody can hire, so you can be in the hub on site and have access to all the facilities there. There is an upcycle hub, and every time you go, there's always somebody there to welcome you. We have recruited 200 volunteers, and one of the highlights this year was when our Dementia Cafe volunteers were awarded the Pride of Tendring. This is a wonderful accolade in recognition of their work. They just give up hours of their time every week to support people with dementia and their carers at the cafe. For the first time in 2022, we opened our doors on Christmas Day, which was the inspiration from Brenda Ellis, our chair. And all that week, we provided over 100 people with a warm welcome, a nourishing meal, and a gift at what can be, for some, the loneliness time of the year. Volunteers are integral to CVST and to our community, which is why we have initiated a new volunteers group who meet every week. They chat and discuss and decide what they think is needed in the community, and then they act. And the aim is to instill a legacy of a lifetime of volunteering, which is crucial for everybody's future. Our volunteers have donated an astonishing 31,000 hours to the local community. I just want to end by taking this opportunity to thank our member groups and partners for all the work you do in our community. We love working with you. Thank you to Councillor Gary Scott for nominating CVST as one of your chairman charities, and thanks to friends, supporters. Thank you to our wonderful and inspirational volunteers, our enthusiastic, multi-skilled, multi-talented staff, and our kind and wise board of trustees. I'm not after a pay rise. Who all together are continuing to grow a thriving and flourishing community for the next 50 years and beyond. Thank you. I'm now going to pass you on to Dr. Jonathan Geldard, our Treasurer.
I'm standing on the cable, So if something happens, you know why. I do like following Sharon. She talks a nice long time. She tells you everything you need to know. And it reminds me of all the things that we do in this organisation that I sometimes struggle to remember because we do so much. So it's a great privilege. So when she was talking about the garden, the community garden, I did think she'd said that there was a community pub there. I think she probably said a community hub, but
It's Miss Scouse again.
you never know your luck. The finance report is on the inside of the back. Well, it's the penultimate page. It's page 30. It's also it's lovely to look at, really,
For a trip.
because it's got large numbers. The tangible assets are always straightforward. They are the buildings we own. Hopefully, they're not going to alter a great deal. The thing that has changed a lot in my tenure as treasurer is what gets described as current assets. In other words, the cash we have to work with. When I became treasurer some years ago, I think we had 7 employees. We now have 47. And from distant memory, the total turnover of the funds was £400,000, not 2 million, nearly £400,000. Obviously, that purely relates to 2 things. One, the number of staff we have, and as Sharon has mentioned earlier, the grants that we give out on behalf of other organisations. Anybody who wants to look at the accounts in detail is welcome to have a copy of them if they wish. You can, of course, always look them up on Companies House website. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to attempt to answer now or later if they're detailed. If there are no questions, I would like somebody to approve our accounts.
Thank you, Bob.
Anybody like?
Thank you, Mick.
Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Bob. Is everybody in favour of accepting and adopting the accounts? A sea of yellow. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. It says on the agenda that I'm going to talk about the trustees' report. Well, actually I'm not, because Sharon has described what our organisation has done over the past year, and that's huge. And Jonathan has talked about our financial position, which is also huge, and it's a very, very, very large job that our finance department handles, and also our lead members of staff handle as well. So trustees' report in a nutshell is that we have the most amazing team of staff to a single person, absolutely amazing. I take my hats off to you. There is nothing that's too much for our staff members to do. There's nothing that they say that they can't do, because they always can do, and they'll ask their colleagues to help them if that's needed. We have amazing staff, and that's the backbone of this organisation, together with our volunteers, who number, is it 290 now?
60.
260. That's just incredible figures. 260 people who devote their time, who give their time freely and happily to supporting this organisation, this amazing organisation. And in closing, I want to pay tribute to my fellow trustees, who are amazing. You are so supportive. You are so balanced. You do your job so, so well. And Bob always gives me a lift if I need one. So cheers, Bob.
That's why you
Keep me hanging on.
Yeah, and no pay increase for you this year. Thank you very much indeed. We now come to election of trustees. We have just one trustee eligible for re-election, and that's Mick Page. Can I have someone propose that Mick is re-elected? Anne, thank you. I couldn't see you. I'm too far forward. So, Jonathan and Anne seconded. Thank you very much indeed. And does everyone approve that? So again, that sea of yellow cards, please. Thank you, yellow card holders. Right, Dave, I think it might be your turn.
Excellent. Lovely. Thank you very much. Come on, own up. Who forgot to bring their yellow card with them? This is the real celebration part of our evening, when we meet some of the people that makes all this happen, and what an incredible success story this is. Now, for some time on my programme on BBC Essex, I've been doing something in the Friday afternoon called Volunteer Voices, where we invite organisations like you to come onto the radio, introduce us to one of the voluntary organisations that you help, you guide, you look after, you encourage, and I know that I can always rely on you lot to give me some lovely people to put on the radio. So thank you very much indeed for that. Now let's meet some of the people that make all this happen. And to start us off, infrastructure support. What's that? I think that's something to do with the person, we were all watching, weren't we? When the person, even out of the corner of our eyes, as that person was wandering round, thinking, what on earth are they doing, as they were wandering around and opening the doors and so on. And then we found that they were putting the lights on. So I think we all breathed a sigh of relief that they weren't doing a fire check or something like that. So let us introduce you, first of all, to Yvette Wetton, who is the head of infrastructure at CVST, and Yvette will be taking you through a brief presentation on the sort of work that they do. So I shall hand the microphone over to you, Yvette.
Okay, thank you very much. As Dave said, Yvette Wetton. I'm the head of infrastructure here at CVS Tendring. I guess, first of all, I want to join Sharon and the board in thanking everybody for coming here today to support us at our AGM and also at our showcase event tonight. It feels really strange to be standing up here and talking about what we do here at CVST, because that's not generally what we do as a rule. What we're usually doing is talking about you guys. What we're talking about, what projects you're doing, what you're delivering for local people, what the community needs are that you've identified, how you'd like to meet those needs, and then we try to put you together with the people, the funders, and the other organisations that can help you to do what you want to do. And so when we were looking at having a celebration of CVST over this whole year, we started off by saying, well, we really need to celebrate what we do. And I know Sharon will say, but that's not how we do things. And I said, just this once, Sharon, just this once at this event, can we just once talk about what we do? So,
Blow a trumpet.
yeah. So, so I'm going to be talking about infrastructure, which is basically the bit about, I see the organisation to be very much around, there are some things that we do that support organisations like yourselves, and there's some parts of the organisation, some parts of what we do that support people. So put very simply, infrastructure is the bit that supports you as organisation. But for this evening, the first difficulty was really being able to decide which parts of the organisation it was that we were going to showcase, because, as Sharon has said, there is so much going on, and we've got so many different things going on. So we can't showcase everything tonight. So tonight we're going to concentrate on our infrastructure services, hence I'm here, on our social prescribing and on our community development projects. But it's not just about me. As I said, I mean, I work as part of a team. So as I go through, if I mention your name, and all my colleagues are going to hate me, you stand up and smile, and everybody know who you are. So, on all your chairs, you should have one of these, this impact report. And it was authored by all of the staff here, but it was pulled together by the lovely Lorraine. Stand and smile. Who heads up our communications and marketing team. So, as Sharon said, this document is going to provide you with all the details and the facts and the figures about what we've been doing over the last year. And one of the things that Lorraine's been really keen on is about showing off about what we do across the whole year. So you might well have noticed a significant increase in the number of mentions that we have in the press and some of our social media. And our e-bulletin, Stop Press, that goes out to you all as members, now goes out to just under 1,000 people every single week. So, you know, so it's something that kind of goes out, it pops into your inbox every single week. If you all have any news that you want us to share with us as a community, please do get in touch with Sam. Volunteers and volunteering is something that is really, really key to our sector, isn't it? And at CVST we've been supporting you guys to be able to attract and to recruit volunteers through our Volunteer Essex platform, as well as having our own volunteers. And because we really do believe that working with volunteers is absolutely key to what we do. So just quickly before we go on, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to our volunteers here tonight, our CVST viewers, for all the help that they've given us in marshalling and handing out food, and really, really appreciate all the help that you give us throughout the year. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you all so much. But volunteers changing, and we all need to adapt and flex to this. And many of you in the room today have been playing an active part in your communities for many, many years. And perhaps you think, I might want to be stepping back in the next few years, have a bit of a reduced role, but you're not seeing anybody coming forward. So a big question, I think, for us next year is going to be looking at how do we make volunteering more attractive, particularly trusteeship for organisations. So I'm looking to my colleagues within the NHS and local government and to my board to give us a bit of a hand with that, to be able to really sell volunteering and particularly trusteeship for next year. CVST wants to be relevant to all of our communities in tendering, and when we looked at diversity within our own organisation and within our beneficiaries, we tasked ourselves to do a little bit more, to do more. And in addition to the work of the cultural diversity team, alongside Gloria and Lyra, I know Gloria's not around, Lyra's not here. No smile from them. I'll just smile for them. We've been working to support, working in partnership with organisations who represent and support Black and other minoritised people locally. And to this end, we've supported African Families in the UK, Bangladeshi Women's Association, Culture Chinese Community Association, and as Sharon mentioned, Drama. And we've brought in additional funding from outside Essex to support our Eastern European Community Cafe. Alongside the resilience team led by Lee. We've worked together to respond to emerging needs, bringing partners together, pulling down funding to support people affected in tendering by the war in Ukraine, by the cost of living crisis, and working together with you all to find ways to support our communities. For example, together distributing food and fuel vouchers, and also trying to work out ways to support ourselves through this, because all of our gas and electricity bills have gone up, haven't they? Our partnership working has brought us in closer contact with you all, as Sharon mentioned, through Tendering Together, Tendering Older People's Forum, through our funding forums, through, as well as our work through the North East Essex Alliance, and our colleagues in both the ICB and the local authorities. And working with the Alliance and with other local and national partners, we've accessed and administered funding for a large number of projects locally to the amazing total of, wait for it, that's not the right, did say wait for it. See, that's right, that is actually a really mammoth amount of 1,278,000. I had to actually write this down in words because I couldn't quite. 78,997 pounds. That's the money that's gone out into our local community, into voluntary and community organisations through CVST in the last year. That's been an absolutely mammoth task for our team, led largely by Karen Ted Ward, who isn't here today, and also we wouldn't have been able to do it without Karen Duncan, who is here tonight. Thank you, Karen. They're going to make me pay, I think, on that. But anyway, numbers, they only tell part of the story, and over the course of our 50th year, we've asked our members and our partners to leave us a message in our 50 Voices campaign. And I've just popped a few of what people have said and the messages that people have left for us. And it's been, really, really heartwarming to have some of the humbling, to have to hear that. It's amazing. And earlier this week, I logged into my laptop at work. You know, the usual thing, you get in and you kind of throw everything down, you slam open the laptop, you go, oh God, what's new today? And I had an email, and I wanted to share some of the highlights with you. It says, I wanted to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude for CVST's unwavering support. Your belief in our mission and allocating funding for our projects has been nothing short of transformative. It's no exaggeration to say that without your support, reaching ethnic minorities in the tendering region would have been an immense challenge. This funding has enabled us to break down barriers, bridge divides, and create opportunities for those who often find themselves marginalised. Through your commitment, we have been able to extend our outreach programmes, ensuring that we can reach ethnic minorities in even the most remote communities of the tendering region. Together, we have been able to design and implement initiatives that embrace diversity and celebrate the rich tapestry of cultures in our region. Together, we have made a real and lasting difference in the lives of countless individuals. Your support has provided educational opportunities, access to vital resources, and a platform for underrepresented voices to be heard. Thank you in believing in our mission and standing by our side. It's just amazing to come in to have a thing. But I mean, you don't have to take my word for it, Dave. I think, if you want to hear it from the horse's mouth, I think you can speak to Rachel, who was the from African Families in the UK, who was the author of that email. Do you want to come down?
Lovely. So let us meet the co-founder of African Families in the UK, or AFYUK, which I think is rather like. Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah. Shall we come over this way? We're running out of cable here. So when did you start working with the organisation?
That was 2015. That's when we were registered.
Right, and tell me about the organisation itself.
Yeah, African Family in the UK was formed mainly to reach out to Africans, residents here in the UK, and is to bridge the gap between ethnic minorities and the local services.
Right, and how did this organisation help you? I mean, what sort of assistance did they give to get you going?
This organisation, AFIUK, or AFI UK, we reach out to minorities, and that's where we are part of the beneficiaries of the 1.2 million that was mentioned here. And with that funding, we've been able to reach out to the people who are here in tendering, who are suffering. That's how we have expanded our reach. We've been able to promote inclusion. We run a group together with CVST. If you look at page 6, you'll see one of our community ambassadors who runs that group, the Afro-Caribbean. And they ran at the Baptist Church, and they reach out to some of the people who are quite lonely. They just want a place where they can meet, have a sense of belonging.
And did you find it difficult to actually get in touch with these people to start with? Because very often people are sort of quite reluctant to become involved, aren't they?
Yes, there's that part of it. But when they see somebody like our community ambassador, Victoria, she looks like them. So she's able to connect with them. She understands their language. So it's quite easy for us just to be in a place and work with partnership with a group, with CVST, which now gives us the resources to be able to reach out to these people.
And what have you been doing in the last year with CVST?
We've been running this group every Wednesday. And we did one great event in Harwich, and that was celebrating 75 years of the Windrush, and that was a success.
What about the future? What are your plans for the future?
Oh yes, the partnership going on together, because I know together we have, we'll be able to reach out to those territories which are uncharted, territories which we have not been able to reach out to. So the resources will help us to get to these areas in this region, especially because, as you know, tendering, it's there's Walton, there is Harwich, there is Clacton. It's quite big. But with the resources, I believe in this partnership, we'll be able to reach quite a number of groups.
So once you've reached the groups in the tendering area, have you got plans to expand beyond that? Because there is a need, isn't there?
Oh yes, the need is big. And we are already in Colchester. So Colchester is one of our also strongholds. And now working in tendering, this is just a great opportunity.
So what would you say to people who have never heard of this organisation, CVST, that we're celebrating tonight, and they're just starting a small group? What would you say to those people starting off like you started all those years ago?
I would say that they should forge partnership, because in partnership there's always power.
I love that. Partnership is power. Rachel, thank you very much indeed. Rachel Walton. The co-founder of African Families in the UK. This is a real celebration, isn't it? This is lovely. This is lovely. And of course, I keep getting the letter. Am I the only one that keeps getting the letters the wrong way round? I don't know, so maybe I'm dyslexic, I don't know. CVST, CSP, anyway. So CVST works with all different age groups, and I think that's really, really important. And the future is in the hands of young people. And so it's terribly important that young people are involved in this. And I'd like you to give an enormous welcome to Rigby, who is going to come and join us, one of our young volunteers here. Hello. Could you come over here, because we're going to snap the lead here. There's nothing worse, is there? Rigby, how did you first become involved with CVST?
Well, I heard about it from one of my friends who had started going, so it was basically like through word of mouth, really.
And had you done any sort of volunteering before that?
No, this was my first like proper volunteering.
What made you want to volunteer? Because trying to get people to volunteer these days is is really quite tricky, isn't it? What infused you? What got you going?
Well, I had spare time and I wanted to spend it like helping to better the community, which this has offered a way to better the community in different ways with being part of like loads of different projects.
Right, what sort of stuff have you been involved in?
So over the summer we've done two of my favourite projects probably. So we did the homeless breakfast at Trinity Church, and we've helped out at the Kennedy Way Gardens doing upcycling projects.
And that's just this summer?
Yeah, we've just finished it like a couple of weeks ago.
And what was so good about the homeless breakfast thing, apart from the sausages?
Well, it was more, you could see people coming in and you can see just like helping them, just even if it's like a little bit of just like, we're just helping the community.
Did you actually, before you went to this breakfast, did you know that there were so many people in the area who had this sort of issue?
No, going to it actually opened my eyes of how many people actually like probably needed or just wanted a little bit more support, and like being there helped me to provide that support.
When you said you were going to volunteer, what did your friends say?
Well, she was very happy that I was joining in, and it also gave me the opportunity to make a lot more friends as well and a lot more connections in the world.
So you've actually expanded your network of mates and acquaintances and so on. And what is your plan for the future?
Well, volunteering has given me a lot of different opportunities, and as a result, my plan now is to work with CVST, as I've been offered an apprenticeship at CVST.
Been offered this week an apprenticeship with CVST. Wow! And that. Sorry, this is really daunting, isn't it? I'm really sorry about this. But this is something you would never have got without the volunteering, isn't it?
No, it's really, I'm really thankful for it.
And you were saying to me earlier on, this is a sort of gap year for you, and this is before you go to university, and then you're going to make your decisions as to what you want to do and so on. Can you see yourself staying in the voluntary sector? I mean, do you quite like this sort of area of helping people?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's like what I wanted to like go on to study, is to help people, and I definitely find different volunteer groups wherever I go in life.
Rigby, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Well, the future is safe in your hands, clearly. So that's really good. Now, we've had mentions of social prescribing tonight, and this organisation provides lots of support to other organisations, but it also has this direct impact on people's lives. And this is where social providing comes in. Now, this works directly with local people and with partners, and this is so important, isn't it? Working with partners like GPs, hospitals, just to get them involved with this. And they're really signed up to social providing. Would you agree with that? I think they're, or are they? Are they signed? Yeah? Yeah, we're getting a nod from the, so they're getting there, are they? They're getting through the door. It's difficult, isn't it? Yeah. But the opportunities are there. Now, look, we're going to have a look at a small film now, and it illustrates social prescribing in action. And the film is called Getting Ian Home.
I was contacted by the GP, Dr. Taboni, at the St James Surgery to contact Ian's sister, Wendy. She was really concerned and was looking for some advice to help and support Ian and to enable him to be discharged from hospital.
So we were already very concerned about Ian's vulnerability because of his disability, the fact that he'd been through a very traumatic few years and had really lost touch with life outside the home. And then he broke his ankle. He was housebound, not getting help. The flat was in a dreadful state. Ian was in a dreadful state. He's in Clacton-on-Sea, we're in Cornwall. And as we got closer to knowing that he was going to be discharged from hospital, obviously we got more and more concerned about how on earth we were going to try and support him at home.
Wendy told me that when I was in Harwich Hospital, she was very worried about me because she said I was worried that you were heading for a breakdown, because she said you weren't communicating.
And then suddenly there was this voice on the end of the phone saying, "Don't worry, we can help. We can help with getting Ian's flat cleaned. We can get him a new mattress. There's a man called Vince in Clacton who works at Ian's surgery. Has links with his doctor, who runs social events, who can help sort transport." And we just thought, this is just, I couldn't believe it. And it was really Vince working with me and with the rehab team and the discharge team at the hospital. And we managed to get his flat completely cleaned, top to bottom. And that became a condition of his discharge.
Ian came home. We looked at organising care and giving him some options on care companies that he could look at, Careline, and looking at support for shopping and the like. And we talked about activities, and we agreed that the Fun and Friendship Cafe on a Monday would be a really good option. He's got a lot more confidence now. He seems to me certainly to be much more engaging with people when I've noticed that at the Friendship Cafe.
Yeah, it's nice to have somewhere like I know that, basically if I want help, I know I can get help. When I first came back here, it was lovely to be back, but initially I didn't have any sort of contacts, I enjoy sort of getting out and going and being at Imperial and talking to people, I feel happier now. Without CVST, I'd just be here.
It's just CVST for us, for Ian, has been a lifeline. So we just can't thank CVST enough. We really can't.
Wow. Wow. Gosh. Well,
It's a happy ending.
yeah, having actually watched that, if the whole of the front row's in tears here, and I think we all are after that. That was just fantastic, fantastic. Let's welcome just a couple of the social prescribing team up here to have a chat about if you can manage it. Is that all right? Yasmin Atwood and Helen Curry. Hello.
Hello.
Wow! Come on, give them all a huge round of applause. Welcome this way.
That was the first time I've actually seen that video, and I think that in itself just highlights what social prescribing can do. And that has made me feel really emotional, actually, you know, what an impact we can do as social prescribers. So as a social prescriber, we can help with anything that's not medical or clinical, we can help, anything whatsoever. And I think to see that video, that was lovely.
So you deal with this on a sort of daily basis, do you, Helen?
Yes, we do. Yes, we deal with people from all sources, whether that, like you said, rightly, the GP surgery, the hospital, word of mouth, a concerned friend, neighbour. We deal with different people every single day, and it's it's a job where no 2 days are the same, and it's lovely.
And Yasmin, you said, well, we can do anything. I mean, does that sort of sum up social prescribing?
It really does. You know, we've got an absolutely fantastic team, and if we don't know the answers, we will always find the answers. You know, we'll always give that person the right help, the right support that they need, no matter what. We, as a team, we all go above and beyond for our beneficiaries.
But how do you cope psychologically yourselves? Because you must see people in some pretty low places in their lives. What keeps you and the rest of the team strong, Helen?
Each other. We always make sure we have each other, and it's something where we, like Yaz said, if we don't know the answer, we'll find someone who can, either within our team or within our lovely partners and people we work with. And as long as we have each other, we tackle anything.
We have our social events as well, so that gets us through. We have our weekly team meetings as well, so that helps.
So the weekly team meetings are ones to get invitations to, are they? They are the must-have ticket.
We've got a great team and a great manager. So
without getting too deep, you're the sort of, where's the manager? Sharon! Stand up and smile. You, without getting too deep, you're the sort of personification of community, aren't you? You know, we all have this sort of idea of what communities used to be like. Everybody used to help one another. Whether it was true or not, I have no idea. But that's what we have. But you're the real thing, aren't you?
We're able to connect people to their community, which is such a rewarding experience to be able to go, okay, you have this problem, let's take some of that burden off. Have you tried this option, or have you tried something else? And to try and work with that person to make their care and well-being as holistic as possible.
We've seen just one example on that film there, but you see this every day, and would it be right to say you're lifesavers?
Yeah, we did have something happen more recently, which I'll get Helen to explain. This was Helen's case, and it was all thanks to one of our fantastic volunteers.
Absolutely. So we had something happen where an individual was discharged from hospital and needed some shopping support. I got one of our wonderful volunteers, this was over in Harwich, to help and get shopping for this individual. A few weeks went by, absolutely everything was fine. There was regular shopping going in and out of the home, until the volunteer couldn't get a hold of the individual one day, and it was very unusual. This individual was housebound, certainly would not go out without making somebody aware. No family or friends, anything. And we ended up having to go over and do a welfare check, because I had tried local hospitals, saw if the police service could help, and it resulted in Yasmin and I going over to do a welfare check. We had assistance to get into the property. We discovered this place was warden controlled. The warden kindly broke the lock to get into the property. We found the individual stuck on their back, hallucinating, and we have no idea how long they were there for, because incredibly dehydrated looking, just their mouth was, and the fact that they were hallucinating and slurring, we immediately called an ambulance. And if it was not for that quick thinking of that volunteer, I don't even want to think about what may have happened, because how long this individual was there or how long they would have stayed there. And if it wasn't for...
It's been a month and the poor person is still in hospital. So, yeah.
So do we know what's going to happen to that individual when they come out of hospital?
Well, there would be support from us. In fact, the individual is at a local hospital and I'm going to actually visit them tomorrow. So just to make sure that there's something in place for them to know that they're not alone and we're still here. The shopping, if they want, can still continue. The friendship that they've made with the volunteer, which was priceless, will still continue. And bless them, they've been chasing me every other day to make sure they're okay if I've heard anything more. And it was certainly something I'm not going to forget. Yeah.
I think we would probably all agree that we need to multiply you and your team by as many times as we possibly can. How are you going to do that? Because it must be quite frustrating knowing you can only do a certain amount.
Trying to just ask Sharon, how many are there now of us in our team?
It's 18.
There's 18.
18 of you?
18 of us. In fact, if you checked out the I don't know what that's called, the slider thing there, you can see most of us on the photo there, so you can see there was a wide array of us.
Banners over there, our social prescribed, that's our whole team, and we cover the whole of Tendron, every single GP surgery across Tendron, we've got an allocated social prescriber.
Thank you so much. It's been really lovely talking to you. Thank you, Yaz and Helen. Thank you. Social prescribing. Gosh, this is nice, isn't it? Isn't this lovely? People, when I arrived tonight, they said, "Oh, they're a lovely crowd. They're a lovely crowd," and you are, aren't you? And don't forget, we've got the addresses of those people who didn't turn up. We know where they live. Now. CVST also runs a community development project which is called Healthier, Independent and Longer Lives. HILL for short. Do you mind if I call it HILL from now on? Is that all right? Good. This was created in response to the poorer health outcomes that are known to exist in the Tendring area, and we all know that. The project works alongside local people to empower them to take control. The project works alongside, sorry about that, local people to empower them to take control of their lives. I have got a script here, you'd never think it, would you? Helping them make connections, form friendships, gain confidence, and make the changes to improve their lives. In other words, getting them as part of the community. Now, we have another film for you. Give me the nod when you're ready. Give me the nod when you're ready. Okay. Ready? What do you mean, I don't know? It's just like working in the BBC. Can I go to the next guest? Don't ask me, I'm just the producer. I don't know. Now, we've got another film for you. It's a short film that was made with a lady who visited CVST's hub, as opposed to pub, or hub in Harwich, and the film is called This Is Shirley.
Here's your tissues.
Stop it.
I couldn't walk out my door. It was only in my home, housework, gardening. And I like gardening, and I couldn't even go out the front to cut my own grass. So we got to the door and I said, I can't go in. I was worried because I was quite shy, no confidence. I didn't like the way I looked. But coming here, it's really helped me. Like, the hub now, everyone in there, even the workers, they mean so much, and they've helped me so much. Within the year, I've done Beat the Street, what I've really enjoyed. That got me out on my bike, and I absolutely loved it. But then I've done Street Tag, that's another good one, and really enjoyed that. I've become a volunteer that I'm really proud of. At first I thought, oh, I don't know about this, but it was lovely helping, and to see their faces and to see their smile, and you know, you get lovely feedback from them. So I'm thinking, oh, I am doing something right. We've done like Halloween, and we've done the Pink Week, and I can't believe it. I dress up, but they love it. Then it's like when they do a raffle or anything, I'm up there having a laugh and a joke, and I just walk out of the door. Have I really just done that? Is that really me? And yes, if I say to myself, this is really me, this was me 25 years ago, I'm getting back to myself.
Now, unfortunately Shirley couldn't be with us tonight, but her colleague Becky Dowling is here to pick up Shirley's story. Becky, wait, hello. Hello. Come over here, could you? That's lovely. Now, things have moved on a bit since that film was made. Tell me what's happened.
Well, I was blessed to oversee a new project in Harwich called the Active Communities, and it was all about kind of just getting people to move more. And so therefore we needed 2 workers to come and sort of go out in the community. So I'd got to know Shirley by then. She was a regular volunteer, and I thought, I think she could do this. And I spoke to her about it, and she was like, no, I can't. I was like, yeah, I think you can. She went, what, really? And I went, yeah. And she went round and asked all the workers, she puts it in the hub, and I spoke to them, and we all went, yes, you can. And she was like, oh, and I said, well, let's just go for it. Just, you know, stage 1, and she applied, and she did the interview, and she was really worried because whether she would be able to talk, and I think those were at the interview said she didn't stop talking because she was so chuffed she could talk. Because and now, wow, she's gone strength to strength. You walk down Harwich High Street and, hello Shirley, hello Shirley, hello Shirley. She's created, she goes out and does one-to-one walks, and she wanted people to get together, so she completely on her own back created this kind of beach hut day. She hired the hut out of her own money. She got people joining in and all kind of getting to know each other, and now as a result people now walk together. And then it was sort of, we kind of have a project meeting, and it was an idea kind of floated about doing a taster day. And I said, first we had 2 workers, but actually the other lady who seemed much more confident, she actually couldn't do the job. So Shirley had a couple of wobbles on the job, but she carried on doing it. And I said, you know, do you need any help? You know, I'm here. And she said, well, let me, you know, I'll ask if I need it. And she booked the hall, she booked the acts, she went out and promoted it. She can go into a room now and talk about her project. It's and not only has it had an effect on her, obviously now she's got a job. She hadn't worked for 30 years. Wow. Yeah. And but now it's affected her personally. She's making changes in life. She's got a little car with Go Forest stripe. She always wanted a little Fiat Punto, and she's now driving. And she actually went because then she started driving around Harwich. And I said, you're boxing yourself in. Come on, girl, you can do it. So she drove to Horsley Cross, the roundabout, and back again the other day. So I'm working on her to get her to Clacton. That's my next goal. But yeah, wow, she's just amazing. I'm so proud of her.
And the Active Communities Project, you know, generally, what else is it doing?
Well, it's just a fantastic project. So we've got a lot of people that's not moving in any way. So
You say not moving, they're not what? Literally not moving.
Not moving. They're just they're staying at home all day. They're just sitting down all day. So it's Shirley's role to kind of meet with them and find an activity that suits them. So we're not asking everybody to go out and do marathon running. So it could be holding somebody's hand to go to one of our own activities. It could be some other activity. It's Shirley does one-to-one walks. She does group walks. It's just encouraging somebody to volunteer. Maybe they've always wanted to be a salsa teacher, and that kind of thing. So it's a whole range of things, just to find something that kind of helps people move more in the way that suits them, rather than you've got to be a basketball player or something like that.
How difficult is it to get in touch with these people? Because this is, people all say, don't they? Oh, we must try and deal with loneliness. Isolation, especially after COVID, is just one of the huge problems the NHS is facing, social care is facing, the community is facing, and particularly these people are facing. How difficult is it to make contact with them?
It isn't an easy thing to do, but I think because of Shirley's story, she's able to just sort of melt people's hearts, and they go, oh, actually, yeah, okay. So, and she goes out. She's been to Home Start, so with younger families, and she's been to lunch clubs with older people. So she kind of just goes out into all the different parts and just sort of uses her charm, her Shirley charm, and encourages them to come along in way.
But of course, the next trick is to get to more people in their homes who are not moving. Yeah. What's the plan?
Well, it just sort of we kind of my role is funded by Active Essex, and they always talk about move at the speed of trust. So it's about developing those relationships, and then Harwich very much works by word of mouth. So it's about kind of I've benefited from that. Why don't you meet Shirley too?
Fantastic. Give her our love, will you?
I will.
I mean, please tell her the effect that she had on this audience tonight. So, can we actually give the loudest cheer? And you can take this cheer back to Shirley. 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. Give her that cheer from us. Now, let us meet the CVST's communities manager, Tracy Laurie. Tracy, you're on. Little round of applause, little ripple. Thank you. There's nothing worse than walking onto a stage to complete silence.
No, there's not. I'm fine now.
You're right now. Good. Now, you're part of the Hill project, and it's been running since, 2013?
Yes, it was started in 2013 due to a big research project that was done locally to see what was happening in the area. And as the result of that, it was found that there was very, very poor health outcomes. So Hill was born because one of our big focuses is to support people with their physical health, mental health, to support people into employment, upskilling, and also our bread and butter of everything that we do is around volunteering. So we look at the community and how we can empower people and how we can use all the assets that we have within our communities to make things better for themselves and for everyone around them as well.
And that's quite a big ask, isn't it? Actually, well, for a start, getting all this stuff together in the first place and knowing who's doing what. Are we still as sort of fragmented as we were, or are people more pulling together now?
I think that during COVID, we all learnt a really big lesson. And the lesson was that we actually really need each other. And Hill, that is exactly what we aim to do. So our project has never been needed as much as it is needed now. And COVID absolutely proved that. We're human beings and we need to be around other people. And everything that our project offers is about being in the community, being with each other. And that's one of the huge benefits from the Hill project.
And what else? What other benefits has it given people in a practical sense?
Oh, it's definitely about helping people to upskill themselves, move them on to employment, from volunteering, building confidence, knowing their area and what's going on locally. And another big thing for the Hill Project is that we work very, very closely with social prescribing. We're lucky enough to have a wonderful social prescribing team, and when you spoke earlier about how do we get in touch with those people, well, we have the social prescribers to do that. They are on the phone to people as they're coming out of hospital, or they're in the hospitals talking to people, and then because of these wonderful social prescribers touching base with all these people that are struggling one way or another, they can link straight into the Hill Project. And from the Hill Project, we can move them into the community, and we can give them all of those elements in their life that could be missing. And it's about helping each person be the best version of themselves.
I think we all realise that we're in very difficult times at the moment, personally, nationally and internationally and so on. What is the future of the Hill Project?
Well, we're very, very excited. And as I said, we know that engaging the community is massive. It's a massive thing for all of us. And we're really, really proud to say that just recently, the Hill Project has been and secured funding with the National Lottery for the next 3 years.
That is brilliant! So 3 years, you're okay, you can keep on growing.
Yes, definitely. So all of the activities and the project itself that we already do will continue and thrive, and we can build on that, and we can offer lots more within tendering and help many, many more people.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed to Tracy. Oh, isn't this lovely? Isn't this lovely? Well, it is my great pleasure now to introduce you to the chairman of Tendring District Council, who is going to wrap up our evening for us, Councillor Gary Scott. Gary.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sharon, Deputy Lieutenant, or Lieutenant I should say, thank you for inviting me today, and I have to say it's an absolute privilege to be here as Chairman as TDC and to visit. Now, the highlight that really touched me is the social prescribing team and Hill. 2 projects that actually have done tremendous work, getting Shirley out, meeting people, seeing life, improving her well-being, and Ian in his flat, cleaning the flat, make sure he's okay, sense of like coming alive, being there, and thank you for all the team. Can we have a round of applause please to the prescribing team and the Hill? CVST is celebrating 50 years, as you can see along the wall of the history of all the fabulous things that CVST have done over the last 50 years. It's really, really is great. Like people said, volunteering is the heart in our district. Without volunteers, there'll be loads of people out there that won't be able to get help, whether it's social clubs, lunch clubs, which I run in Brighton Sea for the Alton Centre, and thank you CVST for that. Without you guys, CVST wouldn't be, and it's so important that we continue your work, continue spreading the message and helping far more people in the district of Tendring. It's really, really tough at the moment for people out there with a cost of living crisis. It's really hitting people hard, whether it's eating, fuel poverty, and I know there's going to be great challenges ahead for people. And I know you will get lots of people contact CVST and reach out for help and support. As Sharon mentioned earlier, one of my charities this year is CVST. When I was elected as chairman in May, Sharon was in attendance at TDC, and she wasn't aware that I had chosen CVST as one of my 2 charities for this year, because I know what CVST does over the years. And I'm really, really grateful, and I'm sure you can help far more people by carrying on the fabulous work that you're doing. So give yourselves another round of applause, please. Hopefully next year my Vice Chair, Councillor Dan Casey, will be Chairman next year, and he will probably come and visit you guys and spread the message of what he does with his area in Jaywick. and I'm really, really grateful for what you do. So thank you again for inviting me, and here's the next 50 years of CVST. I'll pass you over now to Sharon.
I just want to interrupt Brenda there and make a surprise thank you. And there's one person that works behind the scenes and holds this charity together and never gets the public thanks that she deserves, and that's Lisa. And it was due to me nagging, but mostly Lisa's hard work in burying herself in a dark room and working on that lottery application, which has resulted in Hill being saved for the next 3 years. So, thank you. And I'm now going to hand over to Brenda.
Thank you very much indeed, and I second that, Lisa. You are great. And I will also say that we are a good team.
We are.
Yeah, we are. We work that way. So thank you all very much for coming this evening. Thank you for listening. I hope that you will have a different, not necessarily better, but a different appreciation of what CVST does. You will know through our connections with you, but this is the big picture. And it was suggested by Mick Page that we actually do this, and I hope that we've done what you hoped we would do, Mick. Good evening, good night, have a safe journey home, and thank you very much indeed for attending this evening. Good night.
A big round of applause for Dave Monk. Steve.